Hi guys, Shimmy Damper here, and today I'm going to be showing you how to turn this guy into a mannequin, all on your own. Stay tuned. Hey guys, it's Shimmy Damper here, and today I'm going to show you a little bit about how to make an EVA foam mannequin. So, exciting stuff. First off, we want to kind of create the templates for that, so I'm going to fast forward through this part, and I'm going to cover my mannequin, my duct tape mannequin, with a lot of tape, or whatever else you need. Alright. So let's begin with some of the pattern making and the drawing and the decisions you're going to be making. On this particular build, I actually just wanted to mirror over a lot of the content because that would make it much easier on me overall. And that just meant I needed to draw a very straight center line, and it had to be center. So I definitely took a good bit of time just checking that and making sure I was happy with that line. And then the rest of the lines came down to what I felt would be very useful while I was sewing or while I was trying to make patterns for a lot of the sewing projects that I would be doing. And as you can see, it's a lot of kind of just work in progress. Then I start getting into my EVA foam markings and how I'm actually going to fit those various panels together. So a lot of things to think about, but overall I decided to work in a lot of the lines into the EVA foam and use those as, well, sewing lines as well. So for the patterns, you're going to want to create a nicer version of them that's much easier to work with and not tape. So I like to lay them flat on some really inexpensive paper that I have, and then I'll just trace around it and make sure to transfer all my markings, and then it's just a matter of cutting them all out. It takes a little bit of time, but it's definitely worth it in the end.
Here you now want to go ahead and transfer those awesome patterns you just made onto the EVA foam. I'm using Harbor Freight floor mats, but you can also check out online cosplay stores and go ahead and pick up some denser foams. Anywho, when you transfer them, just make sure that you're not only adding the exterior markings, but you actually continue that on the inside. Otherwise, when you cut out the foam, you might be missing a few markings, so just keep that in mind. So the way that you're going to want to combine all your lovely EVA foam pieces is with contact cement. And essentially, it is very sticky, so less is more in this case. Apply very little on either side of the seams, let it dry for just a little bit until it's tacky, and then go to town and make sure that your markings are matched up. If you do make a mistake, don't worry. You can definitely actually hit it with a heat gun. Not hit it, but warm it up with a heat gun, and it will loosen the bond just enough for you to take it apart and reattach it. Or otherwise you're using a lot of force. So this is my trusty Hot Stuff heat gun, and it is very important to have when working with EVA foam, especially if you're trying to make compound curves or match up very intricate patterns that you've made, like making a mannequin. So essentially you're going to heat up the EVA foam anywhere from maybe 5 to 10 seconds, sometimes longer depending on how close you are to it. Don't burn the foam, but you'll be able to kind of maneuver it into different shapes and it will keep the shape. Just be careful not to burn yourself. Advice to you guys is to definitely make sure that you stay organized throughout this project, because there's going to be a ton of pattern pieces, and also you're going to have to flip the patterns upside down so that you can do the reverse image or the reverse pattern so you can get the other side. And that's what you see me doing right here. I'm pinning them upside down, keeping them organized, trying to maximize the real estate and not waste material. And then later on I heat form it and I label all the pieces, and I'm usually pretty good to go at that point. You definitely want to match the markings, as it said, because that is how you get the proper shape. Later on, when you have all your pieces fitted together and something seems off, it probably is one of two things. Your markings weren't lined up correctly to begin with, or you didn't properly heat form the piece into the correct shape. So just make sure that you're being pretty particular about that. It can definitely become more difficult when you have the majority of the mannequin created and you still have a few negative spots to fill up. Some of the techniques I used was to create more panels by attaching smaller pieces together and then attaching those larger panels to the mannequin itself. I found that that was easier than doing piece by piece by piece. This was an interesting portion to finish gluing up. It's actually the last seam along the main body, and essentially I figured out that if I put a little piece of paper along portions that I wasn't trying to glue yet, it made it a whole lot easier so I could focus on matching up the markings above it, and then I would just kind of work my way down. I'd highly recommend that. This is the bottom of the mannequin, and it's going to provide some structural support, and I also had to take into account for the pole that goes up through the mannequin. And so here I kind of thought of it like an upside down lid to a cookie jar, and so I was creating a seam and a lip to make it more just better for the structure. And here she is, guys! I'm super excited to show off my mannequin build. It's been very useful for actually quite a few projects since I've built it. And I want to say thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching me, Shimmy Damper, build this EVA foam mannequin. And I really wish you guys luck on your own endeavors. Thanks for watching!